Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 337th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. I'd just like to say that this battle, you know, I put battles on from maybe a day ago, a week ago, or a month, or maybe even years ago. Well, this battle was fought on the 4th of August, 2015. So this battle was fought exactly 3 years ago today, and I thought I'd put this battle on to commemorate this battle, as I think it's a really great battle. Also in this battle, there's going to be a battlefield awareness question that it'll be interesting to see if you can answer or not. We talk a lot about battlefield awareness in the Brotherhood, and that's keeping one eye on what's happening in front of you, but keeping the other eye on your teammates to see if they need any assistance or not. So it should be an interesting battle for you to watch. Remember, fought 3 years ago, exactly to the day today. So our first teammate is RTW player called Ink, who has bought the Rome Julio faction, and I think Ink has got I think he's got something like 14 infantry there and 6 cavalry, so he's got the bog standard 31k Roman army there. Very effective, very efficient, but it is the bog standard, as I say, 31k army. Our second teammate is a Brotherhood member who's called himself and Bang. Now, as a lot of you will know, when I do these battle videos, as the cavalry hits, as it attacks, I often say and bang as the cavalry goes in. So he's kind of having a bit of a joke there with his name. But I think this player is Brotherhood member Crimson Overlord or Brotherhood member Sacred. I'm not sure which. And if you notice there, he's got 12 infantry. And I notice he's got 4 archers there. So he's got 12 infantry and 4 archers. As I say, I think it's Brotherhood member Crimson Overlord, but I'm not really sure. It could be Brotherhood member Sacred as well. It's both like having a joke about my and Bang. As you can see there, he's got 6 upgrades on his archers there, so that's an experience. Sorry, that's a gold shield, gold attack, and 4 cavalry. Let's have a look at the upgrades on his cavalry, and as you can see, 7 upgrades. So that's an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. So it'd be interesting to see how well that army does. Our third teammate is IOW Belisarius. Now, a lot of you remember Belisarius, good RTW player. And as you can see, he's bought the Seleucid faction. I think he's got something like 12 pike units there, and a silver shield legionnaire unit as well. So he's got a silver shield pikes. He's got 1 archer unit, 2, 3, and he's got 6 Seleucid cataphract cavalry. Let's have a look at the upgrades. He's just got gold shield, gold attack on that cavalry. So that's a general unit there. Now remember, we call these guys the tanks of the ancient world, and you can see we call them that because they're armoured from head to toe, and used properly these guys can be battle winning troops. So you say you got 6 cavalry, but only 1 archer. He's only got gold shield, gold attack on his pikeman there in one area, but if you look, he's got mixed upgrades. The next one's got 7 upgrades, so that's an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. And as we go up the battle line, there he's got 8 upgrades, so that's 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack on them. But with only 1 archer unit, it's not a lot of cover for his big 120 man units that and he's got gold shield, gold attack on those cavalry. With only 1 archer unit, it's not a lot of cover for those big 120 man units, as we know, are extremely susceptible to missile fire. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. And our fourth teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who's brought another old army to this battlefield. I think I've got actually 15 infantry. It's not very often you see me bring 15 infantry to the battlefield, and just 5 cavalry there. So as I say, this is a very old army of mine that I don't tend to use that much these days. And if you notice, I've got an Eagle unit there with no upgrades. Now that Eagle unit is just bought there to give morale to my fighting troops. And if if you see me throw this unit into the fray, then you'll know things are pretty desperate. Because it's got no upgrades on, this unit will die quite quickly against urban cohorts. So as I say, I just bring that one for morale bonus for my troops, and I'll keep it out of the battle as long as I can. As I say there, it's got just 5 cavalry. You see, you've got an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack. So there's our team there, and I'll be interested to see if you can answer the battlefield awareness question a bit later on. And here is the other team. We have an RTW player called Schema, But a lot of you know him also as 8-Ball, and as you know, he's in the Brotherhood clan now. But as this battle was fought 3 years ago, this is before he actually joined the Brotherhood, and so at this stage he was just an RTW, ordinary RTW player there. But if you just like to notice there, a lot of his army are hiding in the long grass, but can you see 3 of his infantry units there with 8 upgrades? So that's 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. Now we know urban cohorts are exceptionally good troops anyway, but with 8 upgrades on, whoa, that's going to be something to contend with there. Their second teammate is a Brotherhood member who called himself Constantine, but I think this is Brotherhood member Killer B. A lot of you may remember Killer B, extremely good RTW player, but he's called himself Constantine in this battle, and you can see he's bought the Rome Scipio faction. If you notice here, he split his army into 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got 9 infantry in that one unit there, and he's got 5 infantry in the other army there, and he's got 4 cavalry units. He's got 2 archers, and split his army into 2 and 4 cavalry there. So it'll be interesting to see how well that army does during the course of the battle, and that formation too. Interesting splitting the army into 2, I think. So look at the upgrades on his cavalry. Yeah, I thought he would have very, very good cavalry. 8 upgrades. That's 2 experience stripes, gold shield, gold attack. That makes those already elite cavalry almost super cavalry with those type of upgrades on. So it'll be interesting to see how well that army does. Their third teammate is a Brotherhood member TR. Sometimes he calls himself Minor Walker, but this is Brotherhood member TR, and as you can see, he's bought the Rome Brutii faction. Now, I'd just like to draw your attention to his army here. Can you see he's got 16 infantry and just 4 cavalry? So that's 16 infantry and 4 cavalry. Imagine the amount of pilas that those 16 infantry can bring to the battlefield. So it'll be interesting to see how well that army does, I think. And their fourth teammate is Brotherhood member Cal. A lot of you will know Cal, very good RTW player, and he has bought the Rome Brutii faction. I think he's got 14 infantry and 6 cavalry there. Just like to draw your attention, can you see that Cal has also got an Eagle unit? And also I'd like to draw your attention, he's got no upgrades on that Eagle unit, the same as myself. He's just bought that unit for morale bonus there for his troops. And my guess is that he will not put that unit into combat unless he really has to, as he knows he's got no upgrades on there. So that's an interesting army. I noticed he's got mostly gold shield, gold attack on his infantry. So there's the other enemy team there. Should be a great battle for you to watch, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, at this stage of the battle, if you remember, do you remember Schema's army was in the hidden grass there, so we didn't get we didn't get a look at his army there. As you can see, he's bought 2 archers, and you see he's got, I think he's got 9 units in this particular part of his army. But do you remember we noticed 3 units that had 8 upgrades on when we looked? And look, he's keeping those 3 with 2 experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack at the back of his main army along with his cavalry. So these guys are going to go into combat first to tire out the enemy, and then he's got 3 8 upgraded infantry plus his cavalry to throw in there as well. So it'll be interesting to see how well he does on that particular flank of the battlefield there. But that's a pretty good army to look at there, I think. As you can see at the moment, there's an archer battle going on there between our archers and their archers. You can see they're already starting to suffer casualties on both sides there. Now there's a lot happening in this battle from one flank to the other, so I'm going to try and get everything in for you that I can, but this was quite a challenging battle to film because, as I say, there's so much going on from one flank to the other here. So as I say, this battle was fought exactly 3 years ago to the day, so it's kind of like commemorating that battle that was fought 3 years ago by putting it on today. Right, you might have noticed there that I just moved my army back there. I moved it back a little bit there. As you can see, the enemy quite aggressive moving forward towards our team there. But as you can see, I've noticed I'm just going to pause the game. I just moved my army back, and that's because Cal in front of me has just glitched. Now, newer players to Rome Total War, and you see this is a glitch where your army kind of explodes and goes all over the battlefield. Now, you never ever attack a glitched army. If you attack a glitched army, not only is it unsporting, But also you'll find that that player will probably leave the game, and the host will then terminate the game, spoiling the game for everybody. And so you all go back into the lobby, and you won't be asked to join the new game. So remember, not only is it unsporting, but if you do that, then probably you won't be asked to join the new game. So never ever attack a glitched army. In fact, pull back. Nobody wants cheap kills in Rome Total War. If you win, it's a fair and square battle. As I say, nobody wants cheap kills. Look at poor old Cal's army really spreading out there. So as you did notice, I did pull my army back, as I don't want to cause any casualties to a glitched army. Remember, fair play is one of the most important things on Rome Total War. Okay, can you see my Seleucid ally there being extremely aggressive with his pikemen moving forward? The only problem is that unit, that first pilot shield unit, is going to suffer a lot of casualties and could rout. Right, if you notice there, can you see so many pilots went into that pilot shield unit of the Seleucid there? Let's say you got so many infantry, then you got 16 infantry there we saw earlier, and so many pilots went into that pilot shield unit. That pilot unit is routed straight away. Now it is a phalanx pikeman, which is the cheaper pike unit. It's not a silver shield, it's a phalanx, which is cheap. But can you see now that that pilot shield unit has now been routed right at the beginning of the battle? So there's a lot of pilots to go into Belisarius' main battle line now he's lost that pilot shield unit. Remember, levy units, as long as they hold their ground, they can soak up pilots as good as any other unit. But this unit, out on its own, out the front of his army, suffering loads of casualties, has now routed. So he's just got a silver shield unit, I believe, now as his pilot shield unit against all those potential pilots that's going to go in on him. And remember, those big 120-man units are extremely susceptible to any kind of missile damage. And TR knows this, and notice he's moving his troops forward to start throwing pilots into the main Seleucid army there to weaken the battle line. Yeah, there are going to be loads of pilots going into that Seleucid battle line there, as they've just got rid of the main pilot shield unit. So remember, these are 120-man units. That one's been reduced to 86 men, 85 men already, probably with a combination of archer and pilot hits there. As we move up the battle line here, just taking stock of exactly what's happening, you can see right over on our right flank here, our teammate Ink has moved out 3 units to the right, and if you notice that Schemer has matched that with his Scipii army there. He's kind of mirrored that that attacking move by our Julii ally there. I say he's got the potential to be a great battle. There's so many good players in this battle. Right, can you see how TR has put 1 unit into Testudo there at the front of his army? As you can see, Cal and myself haven't exchanged any pilots yet. But as I say, my Seleucid allies being extremely aggressive with those Seleucid pikemen there. But as we know, Seleucid morale is not very good. We've seen this in other battle videos. And when you attack with Seleucid, you can kind of, their morale can kind of drop a bit if they start suffering casualties. Right, can you see here now, we've also got the blue enemy Scipii troops throwing pilots into our Seleucid ally. You see that 120-man unit down to 48 men. So not only has the enemy green Brutii troops been throwing pilots into our Seleucid ally, but the enemy blue Scipii troops are throwing as well. So our Seleucid ally is losing a lot of men just through pilot hits. I think they're looking to target our Seleucid ally here. As you can see there, with the amount of pilots they're throwing in there, causing him so many casualties. Further on at the battle line, you can see nothing happening between our SPQR ally and the enemy Scipii units yet. And over on our right flank, once again, not a lot going on. Just carrying on with that archer battle that they were doing right from the beginning of the battle. As I say, this was quite a challenging battle to film because there's so much going on when it gets going from one end to the other. So please bear with me on the filming here. Right, as you can see here, can you see I'm moving my Julii army forward there, trying to support my Seleucid ally. There, that's been suffering so many casualties from pilots and archer fire. As I say, Belisarius being very aggressive with Seleucid there. And as you can see here, I'm throwing pilots into the enemy Brutii troops there. And if you notice that my pilots are hitting closely formed infantry, not pilot shield units. So I'm going to be causing a lot of casualties to those tightly packed infantry there with my pilots. That's why we have our pilot shield units in open order. it kind of reduces the casualties that you take from pilot hits. Right, I can see another Seleucid unit routed there. And you can see TR really putting the pressure on our Seleucid ally here, throwing loads of pilots in and attacking as well. I think that's maybe where they're trying to target our battle line there. You can see here I'm throwing pilots into the enemy troops while also attacking this unit, Brutii unit in Testudo there.
They're attacking us!
Yeah, I can see loads of pilots going into my pilot shield units there, but also I can see a lot of archer fire going into our Seleucid ally. Another Seleucid unit has just been routed there.
They're attacking us!
Right, let's just pause the game for a second. So as you can see here on our left flank, a lot of aggression here by the enemy. Their cavalry ready to charge in here. We've got the Seleucid cavalry and my cavalry at the back there. As I say, lots of casualties being taken by our Seleucid allies there on his pikemen. As I say, the enemy Scipii troops have been throwing pilots into our unit. Remember, there was 120 man units reduced down to like into their 70s and things like that, solely by archer and pilot hits there. As you can see, our SPQ allies just skirmishing a little bit, but over on our right flank, notice not a lot going on at the moment, but as we've seen in other battle videos very often, in the quiet parts of the battlefield can all of a sudden explode, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Two lots of enemy cavalry out there on our right flank, and we've got our SPQ allies cavalry and our Julii cavalry allies there ready to counter if they're hit over on that flank. But as I say, there's lots of action going on from one flank to the other once this starts off. Right, as you see, a lot of pilot exchanges still going on between my army and the enemy Brutii army there. So there's a general overview of the battle as it stands at the moment. As I say, it looks to me like Cal's not so much interested in attacking me as helping his ally to attack our Seleucid ally there. Right, if you notice, I'm moving my Julii army over closer towards my ally there. And if you notice now, Cal is charging into the forward units of my my pilot shield units there. Right, if you notice, I've pulled back a little bit there. I think TR has brought even more infantry forward there to throw more pilots into those units. Remember, those are 120 man units reduced down to like 25 men I see in one unit there. So as you can see here, a lot of pressure on our battle line from one side to the other there now. I think they're going to start looking to put pressure on us all the way down the battle line there. Right, as you can see here, our SPQ ally is attacking the Scipii units there. But as I say, over on our right flank here, not a lot going on. Still the archer battle really at the moment, but there's loads of cavalry out there as well. Enemy cavalry. It looks to me like they're just ready to pull the trigger to attack, so I think things could happen over on our right flank there. Let's say over here on our left flank, a lot of pressure on the two of us over here as well. I see another Seleucid unit is now routed. Okay, I'm just going to pause the game here. Now I'm going to ask you, as I say, a battlefield awareness question here. I'm going to show you the general disposition of my allies, and what I'd like to do is ask where you think support is needed. We talk a lot about battlefield awareness in the Brotherhood, and that's where you keep one eye on what's going on in front of you, but another eye on what's going on with your teammates. Right, let's start right over on our right flank. Now, do you think our allies, my ally over there, needs some support? Because as you can see there, they've both split their armies here, if you see what I mean, both Scipii and Julii, but there are, I think, something like 10 or 11 units of enemy cavalry out there to attack. So do you think support needs up there, or do you think my SPQ ally here needs support as he's being attacked by the Scipii troops? Our Seleucid ally here is doing well with his pikes, and there'll be no cavalry attack smashing into them, because obviously with the anti-cavalry bonus that those pikemen have got, the cavalry won't be able to charge in there. So the question to you is, with the battlefield awareness, where do you think my allies need support? If someone in this battle needed support, where do you think? Shall I run some units up to the Julii units, up to the SBQR units? What do you think? Where do you think you would send support at this stage of the battle? Lots of cavalry up on that right flank ready to charge in. Maybe I need to send cavalry and infantry up there. What do you think? Where do you think you would send support units? Okay, well, as you can see here, my Seleucid ally has suffered so many casualties here, and the enemy are obviously targeting this left centre of our battle line. So I think here is where I need to send support. If you notice there, those units are 120 man units, and a lot of them have been reduced down to, I think, 20s and 30s, and that is a very, very delicate part of our battle line. Another thing I'd like to draw your attention to is Seleucid haven't got very good morale, but you notice where the general is. The general who gives the morale bonus is with the cavalry, not with the infantry. So all that cavalry is going to be getting morale bonus, but the infantry that hasn't got hardly any good morale at all has got no general morale bonus at all. It's making them even more susceptible to routing, on top of the casualties they suffer from pilot and archer attack. Okay, so the general should always be with those fighting infantry to give them morale. So what I'm going to do now is I'm sending infantry units over to try and shore up that part of the battlefield. Okay, now remember, we talk about teamwork is the way that your team wins the battle, and this is what I wanted to partly show this battle for, was the teamwork that you need to do. If you notice there, I'm sending over 3 or 4 urban units there. Pause the game for a second. See, that unit's been reduced down to 72 men, and they're only going to, those Seleucid troops are only going to lose more troops and are more susceptible to routing. Now, if you notice here, can you see I'm sending over a Legionary First Cohort unit, and that's a command unit. Okay, so that command unit, because they're Seleucid generals with their cavalry, as I say, they've got no general morale bonus. So if you notice now, can you see what the Seleucid troops are saying now? See, I've put a command unit there, my Eagle unit there, and that gives them happy to be near command unit. Can you see? Happy to be near command unit. So that Eagle unit now is giving morale bonus to my Seleucid ally, helping his troops to fight longer and stay in the battle line longer. So that's why I've moved that Eagle unit over there. Plus I've moved, as you can see, urban units over there to try and strengthen that line against the enemy attack. Now remember what we talk about in battle videos, we've talked about this a lot. Team battles are just that. It needs teamwork and battlefield awareness, watching where you need to help your allies out. And that's why I'm sending those units over there, and that command unit will now give those Seleucid pikemen that extra morale bonus, and hopefully keep them fighting longer against the enemy Brutii troops there. So I've got 2 urban units over there. I'm moving a 3rd urban unit over there as well. Also, this 120 man unit is going to throw a load of pilers into the enemy troops as well, which of course is going to weaken them. And there you go, there's a 3rd urban cohort unit I'm moving over there to support my ally. Look at the pressure that those Brutii troops are putting on my ally. TR is really throwing in some troops there to try and break our left centre. TR knows that those Seleucid troops without their general there would have routed, but now he's seen I've brought an Eagle unit over. I see he's putting even more pressure on our Seleucid ally. They were moving a 4th urban cohort over there as well to try and strengthen the line. Can you see this Seleucid tank cavalry going in, and bang as that cavalry hits? But you notice it was only kind of a half-hearted hit there. He only went in so far and then thought, no, I'm not going to do this, and pulled back out. But there you go. So I've sent over 4 urban units and my Eagle unit there to give them morale bonus there. As I say, teamwork is all about this, helping your teammates out, because if you don't help your teammates out and they lose at their part of the battlefield, then probably the rest of your team's going to go on to lose. Right, let's pause the game for a second. So as you can see here, I'm facing Cal. TR and Cal are now putting pressure on our right centre here against our Seleucid ally. As I say, I've sent 4 urban cohorts and my Eagle unit over there to try and shore up that part of the battle line. As we move further up the battle line, you can see our SBQ, our ally, is now engaged with the enemy Scipii troops there. So that's a lot of fighting going on there. And then over on our right flank here, as I say, you can see a lot going on over on the right. There's lots going on from one end of the battlefield to the other, so I'm trying to get everything that I can here, but this was quite a challenging battle to film for you, because as I say, there's stuff going on all over the battlefield, especially on the 2 opposing flanks. But up here you can see that our Julii ally is attacking the enemy Scipio, but there's a lot of enemy cavalry going to charge in here, and bang, as that first lot of enemy cavalry goes in, and then the second lot of enemy cavalry going in as well there, and bang, as that cavalry goes in, and the Julii cavalry countering that, bang, as that hits as well. There's loads of cavalry and infantry action going on over on this left flank. Let's just pause the game for a second. So, as we saw earlier, the enemy cavalry there, 10 to 12 units of cavalry against 6 here on this right flank. So we need to get support over to our ally there over on that right flank, cavalry wise. As you go here into the right centre, it's fighting going on, but not too bad. And over on our left flank here, once again, can you see the Seleucid and Brutii cavalry are charging in at that one point of the battlefield there. I've got an urban cohort unit in there as well to try and hold against that vicious Brutii attack. You can see here loads of Brutii troops trying to push through there on our right centre there. Right, can you see I've lined my cavalry up because I've spotted a target. I'm going to try and help over on the right flank. I've got my Seleucid ally there with his cavalry, hopefully watching our left flank and left centre. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and send my cavalry over to smash into the enemy Scipio troops. So I'll show you where my target is here. The target is around this area here, aiming for those rear Scipio units there. So my cavalry hopefully is going to smash through those forward units. Okay. I know he's taking a chance leaving that left flank, but my Seleucid ally's got all his cataphract cavalry there, so I'm hoping that he'll be able to counter any cavalry hits going in on that left flank. Right, can you see here our Julii ally has attacked aggressively here against the enemy Scipio, but if you can see my Julii cavalry coming in there, can you see it charging in there? 5 units, well upgraded cavalry charging in there, and bang, as that cavalry smashes it into the enemy Scipio troops there. Okay, so what I've done is brought my cavalry over to support right over on the far right flank from where I'm fighting here. Remember, once again, good teamwork here is essential for our team. So I've charged my cavalry and I've got the full cavalry charge bonus. Remember what we've talked about this, and I'm now pulling my cavalry back out, rally them, lock and load them, get ready to charge in again. Can you see by charging my cavalry in, I've brought Cal's cavalry over from that right flank as well. So he's charged his cavalry over from the right flank to counter my cavalry attack there. So basically we've got loads of cavalry and loads of infantry attacks on our right flank here. Remember, the enemy are the blue and the green, and we are the red and the purple and Seleucid here. And bang, as that cavalry goes in there. And bang, as that Brutii cavalry charges in. Right, you can see loads and loads of cavalry hits here. Right, you can see our SBQ, our allies, sending his cavalry in as well. So this is a massive, massive battle here on our right flank, and this could prove pivotal, absolutely pivotal to the outcome of the battle here. Right, you see we're sending our cavalry in, charging our cavalry back in there against the enemy troops. Remember, the enemy once again are the blue and the green, and we are the red and the purple and Seleucid here. Right, you can see lots of our cavalry charging in there, lots of the enemy green Brutii cavalry charging it in. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. So as you can see here, it's a massive cavalry and infantry battle here on our right flank, and as I say, this could prove to be maybe the winning of the battle here on the right flank. As we move down the battle line here, you can see to our right centre, a bit of skirmishing going on there, but not a lot happening. And as we go over to our left centre, you can see a lot of the Brutii troops still trying to put pressure on our left centre there. And over here you can see that our Seleucid ally there has charged his cavalry in, but remember, those cavalry only had gold shield, gold attack upgrades. Okay, they got the general morale bonus there, but they've only got gold shield, gold attack. I think those Seleucid cataphracts need a little bit more upgrade than that, at least a stripe, to do the most damage that they can there. But as you can see, he charging his cavalry in there. There's a close-up of the fighting. And you know that if you alt attack with those Seleucid pikemen, you get the effective against armour pikemen, but I don't think he's done that. I can see they're still using the light spear. Okay, so let's just pause the game here. So as you can see, it's a real tussle here on the left flank to see who's going to win here. There's so much pressure been put on that left flank and left centre there. Okay, as we move up the right centre, not a lot going on, but over on the right flank, you can see this, as I say, could be the make or break of the battle here on this right flank. Remember, we're the purple and the red. The enemy are the blue and the green. So you can just see what's happening just at a glance there. So much cavalry and so much infantry fighting there. Our SPQ, our allies, advanced quite well there. If you notice here, can you see we're charging, trying to finish off the last of those Scipii cavalry there.
The enemy general is slain, and now
our SPQ, our allies, done really well. He's brought units over from the left centre, sorry, from the right centre there over to help on the right flank. So everybody's doing their bit of the teamwork here on our team. As you can see, the enemy are aggressively attacking here. Once again here you can see our Seleucid ally attacking with those heavy cataphract cavalry into the enemy flanks. But if you notice here, can you see Cal has seen the danger on his flank there and is now moving his infantry over to the flank to support that flank. As say here, it looks to me like, bearing in mind that we are the the red and the blue here over on this flank, it looks like we've done quite well. Not many enemy troops left, but if you look at the troops that we've got left, we've suffered so many casualties. We haven't got a lot of troops left here on this left flank. So we may well have done well, but we have suffered a lot of casualties there on that flank. Meanwhile here in the right centre, it's still fighting there. But over here on the right flank, you can see, as I say, Cal has seen the danger over on his flank and is moving his infantry over to that flank there. And our Seleucid cavalry has been doing a lot of damage to the enemy troops there. And if you notice here, can you see I'm moving several units of my infantry round the left flank here in a left flanking aggressive attack there against the Brutii troops. At this stage of the battle, it's best to be as aggressive as we can. We've done well over on that right flank. Now if we can be aggressive here on the left flank, the enemy won't know where to take their forces. Do they go over to the right or do they go over to the left? So you can see here my tactical thinking here with the attacking tactics that I'm using. Also, I'm surging forward with my infantry at the front of the enemy troops as well as coming around that flanking action. Attack, attack, attack at this stage of the battle. As I say, trying to stretch their kind of reinforcements that they're looking to put on one flank or the other here. If you notice here, very aggressive here with my Julii infantry, my Seleucid allies moving forward with his pikemen too. Right, just pause the game for a second, take stock of exactly what's going on. So as you can see here, I'm doing a left flanking action with some infantry charging forward with other infantry, and our Seleucid pikemen allies charging forward. Plus the Seleucid cavalry is doing a lot of damage. Right here you can see there's still a lot of skirmishing going on the right centre, but Cal's taking more infantry over to our right flank. Now if you look at Cal's infantry compared to our battle damaged infantry over there, things not looking very good for us, because yes, we did well on that right flank, but we've got so many casualties there that our units are extremely weakened against what Cal's units look quite still quite numerous there in comparison to ours. But you see Cal split his army into two. He's got infantry over here trying to protect this one flank, and he's got infantry he sent over to the other flank. So once again, good teamwork there. As I say, this is a battle full of really good teamwork, as you notice all the way down the battle line here. As you can see, our Seleucid ally charging in his cavalry there into the Brutii infantry. If you notice here, I'm moving my red Julii infantry forward in an aggressive way here to try and take out those Brutii troops. In fact, can you see I'm surging through that one Brutii unit? I'm surging my infantry through there to attack the enemy Brutii infantry behind that one unit. You can see Belisarius with his Seleucid cavalry charging in there. Okay, remember we are the red, the purple and Seleucid. The enemy are the green and the blue. Okay, so you can see here over on our right flank, you can see our Ink ally there taking a bit of a hammering from Cal's fresh troops that he's brought over there, his warmed up troops. And although we did well on that right flank, I think our troops are now being routed. Right, okay, the troops that we had on that right flank have now been routed. The enemy have recaptured that right flank from us. Okay, but we're doing quite well over on the left flank here. You can see my troops and my Seleucid allies troops really pushing forward, and our SPQ ally charging in there as well. So we're really trying to rout as many of these Brutii troops as we can before the victorious Brutii troops get across to help them. Right, that's our allies general just been killed. Right, can you see the Brutii general bringing his troops over? But we've just routed all the Brutii troops that were here on this flank. So now we're going to fight these victorious Brutii troops. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. So there's some of our SBQ, our allies left, archers shooting into the rear of those Brutii troops. We've done well on this left flank. We've routed those Brutii troops we were just fighting, but the victorious green troops coming over from the right there are now going to face us. Okay, there's some enemy Scipio units there as well. So as you can see, this game's still really up in the air. This battle's still up in the air at the moment as we're moving forward here. The time for defence is over now. If you notice now, it's got to be aggression. If you notice, I'm moving my Julii troops forward in an aggressive attacking manner towards these Brutii troops. No good standing around at this time of the battle. We need to be aggressive and attack here. You see my Seleucid ally moving forward with his pikes as well. That's a great combination of Roman and pike troops there. Seleucid cavalry charging into the flank of the enemy troops there. Nice move. Moving my general out to the flank of the enemy troops there. You can see some more Brutii troops charging into the rear. My Eagle unit is at the back there. Remember, I said I wouldn't throw that Eagle unit in unless we were desperate. So that Eagle unit is stood at the back of the fray there, giving morale bonus as well as my general. Okay, remember the enemy are the green and the blue, and we are the red, Seleucid and purple. Okay, so the green and the blue are the enemy, the red, Seleucid and purple are our team. Right, can you see the enemy coming in from our flanks as well? There's enemy cavalry coming in, and bang as that cavalry hits. But luckily we got those Seleucid pikemen there that are probably countering that cavalry. I've got enemy blue troops coming in from behind, cavalry charging in from behind. So at this stage of the battle here, you can see we're really... Right, can you see I've charged in some battle damaged Julii cavalry that have just had enough power to rout those Brutii troops there. Those cavalry units are extremely battle damaged, down to less than 10 men in each, but they had that impetus and power there to rout those engaged Brutii troops. Right, can you notice now that I'm surging forward with my Julii troops now onto the units that are left. Our Seleucid allies advancing as well with his pikemen. We are really putting pressure on the last of those Brutii units that are there still. The Brutii general still alive, giving morale bonus to his army there. If you notice, I've even thrown my Eagle unit into this battle as well. Now he's not just stood at the back, I've thrown him in as well because he would have been fresh. And we've routed the enemy Brutii general there, and it wouldn't surprise me if the other Brutii units started to rout at this stage.
God be praised.
Okay, so we've managed to let's just pause the game for a second. It looks like our team has just about managed to go on to win this battle here. But as you can see there, it was really close. I only got 14 men left in my general unit. Okay, let's look at the battlefield as it stands. As you can see, the intensity of the fighting here is just plain to see here, with all the masses of dead, the piles of dead here as we go along that battle line. A little bit quieter there, but as we move on, you can see more and more dead as we move over to the other flank. As you say, this was a challenging battle to film because there was so much going on, especially on the two opposing flanks. Right, here's something that newer players to Rome Total War might not have seen before. You see troops celebrating. Okay, these guys are celebrating the victory that we've just won, and that's what they do when they celebrate. You might not have noticed that before on Rome Total War, but as they celebrate there, you can see celebrating troops there at our victory, which was a hard-won victory there, and so close at the end there. I thought it could have gone either way, really, right the way down to the right to the end there. But as I say, it does look like our team's managed to to go on to win the battle here. So as I say, I hope in this battle you saw a lot of good teamwork there. Remember, we've talked about this on battle videos before. The only way to win a team battle is to do good teamwork. Help each other out. Battlefield awareness. Keeping one eye on what's happening in front of you and one eye on the rest of your teammates to see if they need help. Okay, so that's one thing we talk about in the Brotherhood, battlefield awareness. Okay, first thing I'd like to say is really well done to everybody in the game. Now, what really surprised me is it says average victory. Now, I thought this was going to be close. I don't know about what all of you thought. I thought it was definitely going to be a close battle. So giving us an average victory, I thought kind of flattered us a bit there, really, the way the enemy fought. That old Julii army of mine managed to scrape in the most kills, so I was quite pleased with how well that army did. Bearing in mind, I kind of don't use it too much now, but it is an old army, Allies got some good kills as well. Ink 1026, maybe not the kills that he wanted, but if you look at the enemy kills too, they've all got really good kills as well. Cal maybe not got the kills that he wanted, but as you can see how close the battle was there. Just have a look at the if you like, the battle statistics. My army is the top one. If you notice there, remember I've got a legionary first cohort in mine, the other army hasn't, so that other one there was not mine, but this is my army. If you look at the kills, see my general killed 116, one unit there killed 191, 121 there, so my urban cohorts did quite well. My eagle unit there didn't do too bad, 56, probably got most of those with pilot kills. And as you go further on down, those three bottom ones are probably pilot shield units. That's why I didn't get that many kills. So anyway, just like to say, really well done to Brotherhood member Schemer. Really well done to Brotherhood member Killer, TR and Cal. Really well played, guys. Nice aggressive battle there. But also really well done to RTW player Inc., IOW Bellacervis, and I think it was Bang was Crimson Overlord. Okay, Spartan Commander saying bye for now. See you soon.